You can't compare Snowden and Assange. You cannot compare them, right?
Okay.
Snowden is a fucking traitor.
Okay.
Snowden deserves to rot in hell as a Russian citizen or come back to the United States and rot in hell in a fucking jail. Snowden is a coward and a traitor against his own people.
Okay.
He sold American secrets for personal gain. He claimed it was a whistleblowing operation. He clearly had premeditated it. Fuck him. Julian Assange is actually a foreign citizen who isn't culpable under American law. And we are overreaching in our Espionage Act and overreaching in our actual sovereign rights by trying to make an Australian citizen culpable under American law. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And the poor fucking guy.
It was Manning that fucked up.
Who is an American citizen, who should be tried under the Espionage Act, who narrowly
escaped the death penalty.
They
got him with UCMJ, yeah.
She was saved by, who was it, Barack Obama? Come on. What the fuck, dude?
Pardoned him, yeah.
Meanwhile, Julian Assange has lost like 20 years of his life.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. To me, it's such a simple and frustrating case, and I can only imagine what it's like to be Assange or Mrs. Assange or anybody in Australia.
They held him in a British prison forever.
Forever, dude, right? Like, it's so that he could be extradited to the United States for the Espionage Act because he posted secrets that an American Army personnel member publicly shared to WikiLeaks. That's not on him.
Okay.
Right? So
you think if you take that oath to the Constitution, because you have to do that if you're going to have a clearance, right? You become a government employee, you take that you raise your right hand, and you take that oath. So you think with Snowden, unacceptable because you were in a privileged position, you took an oath, and you betrayed that oath by
whistleblowing a foreign news source. That's what the Guardian is. It's a foreign news source, and that's who he whistleblew to, right? There's a process when you see an abuse of information.
You could have went to OIG.
You could have. That's where he should have gone. And if he did go there first, and they didn't move fast enough for him, that's still on him. Right, like he also had a complaint system within his contractor because he wasn't a federal officer. Yeah, he was a contractor.
A lot of people, he was a contractor.
So he had multiple avenues by which he could verbalize his complaints, create a log, create a history, follow the bureaucratic process that we all swore an oath to. Because if you recall, the oath that actual officers swear is to protect and defend the Constitution, not
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
not the American people. We protect the Constitution, which represents the United States and the United States government, not an oath to the American people. And then we promise to willfully execute the roles and responsibilities of our office to the best of our abilities. It's a clear oath.
It is.
This fucking guy...
Me and you both taking it. So we know.
This fucking guy violated that. Assange is just a travesty of bullyish American behavior. Yeah, that's what he was. And I'm glad that even though he's wasted almost a decade of his life, that justice has prevailed.
Yeah.
And he will get to go back to Australia, and he will have his background exonerated, and that's a win for international sovereignty.
Yeah.
And it's a good lesson in fucking actually remembering the source of information. The source of secrets is the person culpable for protecting the secrets.
It's interesting because I didn't get that chance to ask you last time. So with Snowden, I see your perspective. Why you're like, look, man, there were avenues for you to whistleblow versus giving this information to a foreign publication, which I see your perspective because there's a bunch of channels where you can whistleblow, and a lot of times you'll get your job protected. He could have went to he could have went to the NSA is going to be under. Who's it going to be under? The which department are they under? I'm trying to think. Department of Defense.
Yeah.
He could have went to the Department of Defense Office of Inspector General. They would have loved that.
Yeah,
right?
Internal investigations.
Yeah.
Any number of things.
He could have done at least exhausted those. He could have at least went there first. Yeah, he could have. If he had done that first, he would have had more, I guess, leeway to stand and say, like, look, I went to the news because he didn't even try to go to any of these,
I think he claims he tried,
agencies.
but I've seen no evidence that he's ever tried to do anything else.
Nah, he didn't try. Because if he had tried, they'd have that documented. Don't you think the American public would immediately, they would have been like, yeah, they would put that out there immediately if he did.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I guess it's different when you have a clearance and you take an oath to do it. Because even though it was fucked up that they were because the thing is, for the American public, just so you guys know, it was the Whirlwind program is what he exposed, where they were collecting
Metadata
from conversations in the United States, which is a big no-no in the intel world, where they're basically collecting on American citizens.
They were collecting metadata from American servers that were pulled from cell phone records of American providers.
There you go.
Right? Which it's highly specific, but the point is it's data that was already being collected by businesses, and the businesses were able to give that information to the federal government in an effort to try to identify terrorist threats. So nobody cares that you're cheating on your spouse. Nobody cares that you're cheating on your taxes. Nobody cares that you're stealing from your church. They're looking for fucking terrorists.
Yeah.
And if you don't want them looking for terrorists because you're afraid they're going to trip over
and they're not going to expose you for cheating on your wife on there, because then that would disclose the fact that they were spying on you in the first place. So they're only going to use that to go after the terrorists.
And it's an example of, like, we started this whole conversation. People don't understand the value of intelligence and the difference between intelligence and law enforcement.
Yes, big difference.
When you're looking for a terrorist, you don't give a shit for how many people are cheating on their taxes.
Yeah.
Because the bigger deal, the bigger impact, the bigger case.
You don't even care about criminals, really.
Yep.
So fresh on me. Freedom.